Breaking news on Russia and Ukraine. Some major developments today. The Ukrainian government reports cyber attacks have hit its defense ministry and two of its largest state banks. At the same time, Russia appears to pull some troops back from the Ukrainian border in steps forward to de-escalate. And this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin weighs in on the state of diplomacy. We're going to hear from President Biden later this afternoon. ABC foreign correspondent James Longman joining us now from Moscow to break it all down for us. James, a lot happening today. Let's go ahead and start with this cyber attack on Ukraine. It's breaking this afternoon. What do you know?
Well, very little at the moment, Kira. Ukraine's National Cybersecurity Agency has said that this attack has meant that the Ministry of Defense website, the Armed Forces website, and the website of two of its major banks are down. They're currently without service, but these are the public-facing parts of the website. It's unclear what other parts are down, but they're not currently accessible. The agency's also said that people's money is safe, so that's not been accessed. Obviously, this has got people worried because these are the kinds of websites you might target if you're planning to do something like attack a country. So we don't know what's going on at the moment. It could be that there are other bad actors involved trying to cause mischief, but at the moment that is all we do know about that for the time being.
Well,
Kira?
Definitely a lot yet to try and figure out as this is all happening day by day and all these different developments. And let's talk, speaking of developments, these troop withdrawals. How significant is that, James? And what did Putin say with regard to is he really, is this diplomacy pushing forward toward that, a real possibility? It's kind of hard to figure out what he means at this point.
It absolutely is, Kira. It's always difficult with Vladimir Putin. I mean, he did give his sort of biggest hint yet that this troop withdrawal is real. He actually called it a partial withdrawal. But he did say, how will Russia act next? According to the plan, which was slightly kind of Bond villain-esque of him, I thought. It's not clear what the plan is. Now, Russia says that they are partially withdrawing. There are videos online that show that troops are partially withdrawing. But at the same time, the United States and others are warning that there's not really any massive evidence so far that huge numbers of troops are pulling back yet. And we've had this vote here in Moscow by the parliament here to give Putin the right to essentially kind of recognize the independence of Russian-backed separatist areas in Ukraine, which a lot of people thought, if that vote went through, that would be preparing the groundwork for war. So we're getting a lot of mixed messages, really, from both the parliament and from Vladimir Putin. A lot of people hoping that this is the beginning of the end of this escalation, but not really knowing for sure, which is always really the case when you're talking about Vladimir Putin.
Oh, yeah, and so many storylines to follow. It's kind of hard to keep track. Also today, Russia's foreign minister, Lavrov, he spoke with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Are we learning anything new here about Russia and Russia possibly negotiating?
One of the kind of elements of this story has just been the sheer amount of diplomacy shuffling back and forth, the diplomacy that's been going on here around that rather extraordinary table that Vladimir Putin likes to sit himself around, and the phone calls that have been going on between the United States and Russia. We've had a readout of what they discussed. It's much the same as what we've heard previously. Our side stressed the need to continue the joint work, as was agreed between Presidents Putin and Biden in the February 12 telephone conversation, in the context of the proposals passed by the US and NATO with regard to security guarantees. That's basically code for we want more of a say here in Russia about how Europe manages its security needs. Now, this has been the whole crux of this issue. Russia feels that NATO is an expansionist kind of process and system which is threatening Russia's sovereignty. NATO feels that it has every right to continue expanding, and it wants Ukraine to have the right to choose to join NATO should it wish in the future. Today, Vladimir Putin was basically saying, we don't want that to happen. And he actually said, we hear that Ukraine isn't ready today to join NATO, and they say they won't take it tomorrow. And will they take it, and will they take it when it is ready? Well, for us, that might already be too late. So we want to resolve this question right now. Vladimir Putin wants the international community to say, that's okay, Ukraine will never join NATO. That's not something Ukraine can ever say. So that is why we're in the impasse that we're in. It's going to take some careful diplomacy to finagle around the edges to make sure that everyone feels that there's a path forward, even if they haven't been promised 100% of what they want.
Meanwhile, back here in the United States, the White House running exercises, planning for scenarios of a possible Russian invasion. So you've got the U.S. element as well. So much to follow. James Longman, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kara.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.